From the LA Times, Mr. Brad Turner BT is now 1-0 in his career at Spectrum, doing a game night, big game, James.
Yeah, let's give Brad
Just
a little.
give a little bit of BT.
Little word
Come on,
to
give him
clap
a little bit of word to
Brad
clap.
coming in. Send him in. I want to see your worthy claps. Back to back. Got that Celtic ass. And got
Big
that,
game, I didn't know. I told my
Nick ass
boys, you know
tonight.
what? This might not be the night. Big game, you know, I don't know if he's going to give it to you. He gave it to you the other night. Sometimes he goes back to back. That's rare.
I'll take that.
Yeah, you'll
I'll take that.
That's how
1-0,
much-
better
that's
than
how much you're
Michael
loved.
Francis Bresnahan, who's home right now doing with who knows what.
Or Brez. Get better, Brez. I'm sure
Yes,
this game
Brez,
made Brez
please.
feel better because,
Yes,
listen,
please do.
Lakers get another win back-to-back, Boston and the Knicks on the road. They beat the hottest team in the league in New York. They held them scoreless for almost 7 minutes in that fourth quarter. Check this out. Max, Torian Prince, LeBron, and Austin Reeves played the entire fourth. Hayes was with that group, then AD came in. That was it. The way they blitzed and doubled Jalen Brunson. They started to rebound the basketball because the Knicks, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league, they were causing their damage there, James. But another great team win. They win 33-19 in that fourth. And here's a key big game that I know you always hit on. Only 5 turnovers in the game.
Yeah.
The Lakers.
Total.
And it got you to go back-to-back.
Total. And I think in the last game against the Celtics, they only had
It was
like
under 10, right? It was
8 or something
Yeah.
like that. So they're taking care of the basketball. And I love what Darvin Ham and the coaching staff are discovering right now. I think they're discovering combinations of guys that can play well together, and they're sticking with it. In the Boston game, no LeBron, no AD. We saw what the others can do. And I think tonight it was a combination of blending that together. AD only had 12. He had 8 up until
The end.
The fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. But to me, he was still the most valuable player on the floor. I think he had 4 or 5 blocks. He must have altered at least 6 or 7 others where they went in and they saw him and they went away. And I thought Reeves, once again, the floor general, I just really think this team is finally coming together. Prince did a really good job on Bronson early on, and then the decision to trap him changed the whole game. Changed the whole game. They went without scoring for about 5.5, 6 minutes almost. The defense was clamping them down, and they, like you said, they started rebounding and stopped giving up extra possessions. So it was a nice team effort.
BT,
and down the stretch.
I love what James brought up because I think it's really important. On a night where you only roll with those guys in the fourth quarter, that could be a story, right? You've covered this team for a long time,
Right.
but it's not. When you win the game and you roll with something, guys are going to be happy for each other, and that's what it's about. Each game can be different, and with the loss of Vando, even the other night with no AD and LeBron, you have to play with what you have, and sometimes it might be a guy stepping up that you didn't know, like a Max Christie, getting the extra minutes. We've all been wanting him to play more. Well, he got the opportunity tonight. An impressive win.
You alluded to something, James. Darvin Ham and his coaching staff. It's time that he gets some credit for what he's done the last 2 games. He's coaching in a way that reminds me of what he did during the playoffs. He had this team prepared. He had them ready to play, and it was always the next play mentality. When you go in, do your job. When you're on the bench, be prepared to come into the game. Torian Prince did not start tonight, but he had a good game off the bench. Didn't sulk,
Hit
didn't
9
put
in
his
the
head
fourth.
down. He played well for them. Max Christie is a young kid trying to find his way, but he had a really good block shot late in the game on Brunson
Big time.
without fouling. That shows you that Darvin is now starting to reach his players, and they're starting to respond to his voice.
Listen, with Vando being out, Max Christie has a role on this team. His athleticism, his ability to defend and knock down a 3, he's going to be playing. Let's go back to MSG. Max Christie's with Mike Trudell.
Well, Max Christie, what a victory here in New York. Believe you played the entire fourth quarter. Defense was outstanding, held them to 10 points until the final minute. What did it take on that end, and what was the key for you?
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of good players on the offensive side. You got DiVincenzo, Brunson, and a bunch of guys that can really score. And for us, we needed to lock in. You know, we were scoring the ball at a pretty high clip, but they were scoring it as well. So, for us, our DNA is, get stops on defense. I think we did a really good job there in the fourth.
On the ball, off the ball, some traps. So what was the plan from the coaches, and what did you have to execute as a guard in that scheme in the fourth?
Yeah, I mean, we really just want to get the ball out of Brunson's hands. He still played really well.
don't exist.
He still played really, really well, but we wanted to make other players beat us. You know, they hit a lot of threes, but I think at the end, especially at the end, we contested really well at the rim and we rotated well off those blitzes and we got a bunch of big rebounds. So that was the key.
I know a lot of basketball players think about playing in a game like this with this much energy. Knicks in a 9-game winning streak. You got LeBron and AD out there. What did it feel like to just be in there for the big moments?
That was really cool, man. This is a really, really good experience to, you know, close out a really important game in the Garden and let alone get a win against a really, really good team. You know, it felt really, really good, especially coming in, you know, being a young player and experiencing it this early. So I had a really good time.
I mentioned your perimeter D. How about Anthony Davis inside anchoring things in that fourth?
I mean, yeah, he had a bunch of big rebounds, really, and then a bunch of big blocks as well. And so he was huge for us down the stretch. I mean, without him, you know, they would have scored a bunch of points. And so defensively, he was a monster.
Last one for you. A couple of tough road losses, Houston, Atlanta. You guys rally to win in Boston. Now tonight, we'll see what happens with Vanderbilt and when he can come back, if at all. How do you guys kind of move forward now from this and try to carry some momentum?
I think it's next man up. And I mean, we carry the momentum from these two games, two really big wins on the road against two really good teams, you know, in the NBA. And so you just got to carry this momentum forward and, you know, continue to win more games.
Appreciate it, Max.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Max Christie, team high, plus 12. What a performance. Hit a couple of big threes. And look at the Lakers getting hot in the fourth, BT. I know you like these numbers. 33-19. By the way, at one point, BT, till that final minute, the Knicks were on 12. That would have been their lowest outing of the season in terms of a quarter at 15. But they had those late scores at the end. 32%, the 4 turnovers, and the Lakers shoot 59%.
Great defense by the Lakers. The idea that they were double-teaming New York's main option, Jalen Brunson, made him get off course a little bit, and then dared the other guys to make shots from the outside, which they could not do. And if they got inside, who was there? Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Block shots to make you think 2 or 3 times before you took a shot to the basket.
Yeah, and on a night where they got out-rebounded, Big Game James, by 13, the Lakers, and the New York Knicks had 18 offensive rebounds that led to 17 points. Those final few minutes where they had to tighten it up and they had to get the rebounds, the Lakers came up big. That's also winning basketball, right? You're not going to be perfect in every single category. There's going to be a night where maybe, you know, the balls are just, even you said it, the ball was just not, it was just going their way, right? Balls were leaking out, landing in guys' hands, loose balls, but the Lakers found a way to get that at the end, get that settled.
They did. You know, they were patient.
Yep.
Like you said, the shots were going up. Sometimes the long rebound comes out. Sometimes you can't avoid, you know, them getting the offensive rebound. But I thought they did an excellent job of forcing Hart to be the guy. You notice they came off of Hart and they forced him to shoot, and he got a little bit nervous, couldn't knock down a shot, and they denied Bronson the ball back. And like you said, when they went inside, AD, if he didn't block it, he altered at least 4 or 5 shots. So I thought the defense down the stretch was perfect. They knew what they were doing, the adjustments that they made on the fly. You know, they couldn't stop it immediately, but as minutes passed, they checked it out, then they made an adjustment on the fly, and they locked them down. Like I said, there was like 5, almost 6 minutes there. They couldn't score a bucket. So hats off to the defense down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Brunson ended with 36. He had 25 going into the fourth. The Lakers start that fourth quarter with a 9-0 run, kind of took control of that game. But you nailed it, Big Game, and Doris talked about it on the broadcast. She even said they're making Josh Hart handle the basketball a lot. For that stretch, the ball was in his hands, and DiVincenzo was getting impatient
Should
as
have put
well.
a shooter in. He should have put a shooter in the game or somebody.
They were struggling.
But they never made the adjustment, and we took it to them in the fourth.
Guys, I want to talk Austin Reeves because this is another great night. We spent a lot of the pregame show. He was the interview with Mike Trudell. He earned it. He had a career-high 7 threes against Boston, 32 points, which was a season high. He backed it up again. He stayed patient. 14 of his 22, BT, were in the fourth quarter. He was great from the line, but he was that guy, again, down the stretch, making a big play.
He's not afraid.
No.
He is not afraid of the
First time
moment.
playing at the Garden.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, he showed off in the Garden. And there was one play that they mentioned on ABC when he cleared guys out and made sure they were in a pick and roll with him and LeBron James. Then he pulls up, hits the 3. So that tells you now he's also thinking the game, understanding the game, and knowing that he's a clutch player. And the Lakers look to him to be a clutch player. But LeBron James did not mind passing him the ball because Austin Reeves delivered like he has done so many times this season.
BT, I always listen to my legends. I've been in this job a long time, and I've heard them all say, you know, playing in New York is different. Playing at the Mecca, the excitement that goes into that. Big Game James talked about it in the pregame show, had it as his #1 favorite arena to play in front of Boston on the road. Big game. What does it say about Austin Reeves in his first time there playing to show out like that?
You can
do
feel
it there.
You can feel it. You can feel something about, New York. Jordan went in there. They loved going there. Kobe loved it. Dominique Wilkins, they love to go in there. Just they know the game.
Mm-hmm.
You go out in New York, every park, they know the game. It's like they know if you're and if you are a visiting team, if you're performing well, they'll make you feel like you're the home team. They just love to watch you play. But I just thought the Lakers and Reeves in particular, it's his team to handle the ball. He's the best at navigating. LeBron's a nice, ISO guy. He can take you one-on-one. But Reeves is the guy that can score. He can get that little bump. He get the potential three, and he also can find. He's smart. You see, like you said, I think you said it. He waved everybody out, created a play. He sees things on the floor because he's a coach on the floor. I just love the way he's stepping up.
All right, let's hear from Darvin Ham.